So many games come out every year, games you will never hear of or games that pop up here on these Facebook groups and you don't know what to buy, right? But you're looking for something different. Well, I may have found something for you here in After the Empire by Gray Fox Games. If I said worker placement and tower defense, does that interest you? All right, let's find out. Hey party people, and welcome back to MVM. Today we're going to be taking a look at After the Empire, which is back there, 2 to 4 players. This is a 60 to 120 minute game depending on the player count. And what you're doing in this game, you are you're kings, and you are trying to fight off these invaders, which come every round over 7 rounds. The better you do that, you are going to score more points. But the more points you have or coins you have, the more of a threat you become. So what are you going to do? You're going to have this part worker placement where you'll go out and you will try to recruit mercenaries and you'll have your own troops. You'll be going out and gathering resources so you can upgrade your walls and also get towers that'll shoot down at people. And all you're doing is preparing. Prepare for this little slightly unpredictable hidden information incoming of invaders. That's basically the game. We're going to take an in-depth look at it. You're going to find out my final thoughts. You should know that this copy was provided by Gray Fox Games, but trust me, you're going to get my unfiltered opinion. Nobody is safe. Let's go. Hey you, way over there, how you doing? Do you like where you are? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe this is too far, maybe it's cool. Let me know. So you're here to talk about After the Empire, so let's do it. Worker placement, you got worker placement spots out here in kind of the kingdom area here, and then you have your actual castle where you're trying to protect it with turrets and nice reinforced walls and enough troops to fight all these people off, these invaders that are coming in during the game. Now what's going to happen is you're going to be placing your workers out one by one. Everybody's going to be placing one worker, going around until you run out of workers. We will have up to 5 workers by the end of the game. It runs until we get to 7 rounds. Whoever has the most points here on this track will win the game. Now, you start out in your kingdom. I have the bluffs of Norden and the hills of Westfall over here. I'm going to be really focusing on this one over here so you can get an idea. But you are going to have worker placement spots on your board. So starting with the worker, you'll place it in the spot, and you have the granary. Over here, around these walls are these little fields here. And what happens is some of them will start out, let's say, on fire from the last round. Let's say this one's on fire. What we'll do is we can take this token off and continue to upgrade it from 0 to 1 to 2, and then you'll have this, you'll be producing wheat every round that will help feed your troops. And you got to feed them, otherwise you got to pay them money. They don't like when you come up short, okay? So you got to have that food. You can also put one of these tokens on for protection so they don't come through, so the troops don't come through and set these things on fire. It's protected for the round. You have your stockpile part here on the stockpile. You will have the opportunity to upgrade your building. So let's say these were not on here and we had wood. In the beginning, we'll actually have all wood outlines and they'll have 2 hits on them, 2 hit points. And then your front door will have 1. What you're trying to do is make sure they're reinforced, but by putting enough protection out there, but also putting things like turrets out there, which cost more resources, and you can upgrade them from wood. So you have those. You also have your walls, which have more cubes on them to fight off, to take a beating and keep on going, because you want to make sure that this is strong enough to last every round, because it's going to give you points for each piece that you have intact at the end of the round. So you definitely want to invest a lot in this. This is the real big chunk of what is going on in the game. Then you have your infirmary. Sometimes when things get damaged, or the troops get wounded, they go over here and they will stay with you. The mercenaries, they're gone. We'll talk about that in a second, but they're gone. So you have these spots here where they can come back. You can recover up to 4. I'm putting mine in there. I don't want to forget them, but you have spots out here. So out here you have the scout area. If you put your worker out here in the scout area, and all these are restricted according to player count, of course, you have these cards here. They're in-game point cards, and they will give you 3 points. Some of them will give you points based on the icons that are on the cards here, out here in the area. Some of them will give you for the most points, most resources of a specific type that you can have, but you're going to get 2 of these, and you'll choose one. You'll also receive one of the shields that you will also receive here at the granary. And then you have these scout tokens. Scout tokens will help your troops move around as combat is beginning so that you can move things around and be prepared for what is to come. Otherwise, you get stuck with your guys exactly where you put them. It's a little bit unpredictableness stuff going on here. I will show you that when we get to combat. But you also have in the middle, you're going to have your merchant, which is where you can flip things, money for resources, resources for money, that kind of thing. And then you have your area here where you can get all your different stuff. You got your, what's that, metal, you got wood, and you got stone. And you're going to be using a combination of those to help upgrade things on your board. Remember, that's at the stockpile. And now you can tax people. So taxing people here gives you 4 money. Remember, money is points, so you want to drive that up. You'll get mercenaries. We're going to get there. And then you can also decide to just get food instead. So then you have enough food to feed all those troops you've been holding on to. Over here on the right, you have your mercenary camp, and that is going to be a big part of the game, is making sure you have enough troops to be on the walls to fight. Okay, so you definitely want to be prepared to fight when the time comes, and that's where you get them. You're going to be exchanging money and buying and getting permanent troops, which are your soldiers, or you'll be getting mercenaries. And of course, you can see you get a lot of mercenaries for cheap because they're cheap for hire and they're going to die. You want to sacrifice them as much as possible because they're only going to stick around for 1 round. So then you have, that's going to be all those spots. And now you have your 2 card spots in the game. You have your refugees. Refugees will help you get stronger resource actions. So for example, this one right here, the Blackmore Trader, they will give you +1 when you scout, +1 scout token, and also 2 mercenaries as well. So that's actually a really good card. It's also going to be worth 0 points, and some of these are going to be worth points at the end of the game, and they can be injured. This one right here gives you a discounts to buildings in the city. So it's a nice card to have. It's also worth 2 points. Now you have these buildings over here. Buildings will help you with combat. They may also give you extra worker placement spots that are your own. So you have one right here that gives you, it's called the training field. For every 2 mercenaries you have together, 2 soldiers you have together, you will deal +1 melee damage. Some of these will help you with turrets, all kinds of stuff like there. These cards are all going to give you different benefits, and some of them you will have to tap, some of them will have worker placement spots here as well. And that's really everything that's on the board. You have your player order track, you have your round tracker, you're going to get points each round. I'll talk about how that happens. And then you have this right here. This is where you're going to keep track of everything and spend on this board. And this siege token goes up each round. I'll show you how that goes when we get to combat. And I left those cards out as well. That's because I'm excited to talk about this combat. If you can't tell, I'm rambling, I'm moving super fast because that's what I really want to show you. Let's get to it. Here's my favorite part of the game, and it's not without its flaws, but hey, this is the awesome part of the game after the Empire. All right, so we're digging into combat. The first thing we're going to do is start to prepare. So we have our combat prep. We're going to be moving guys on our outside of our walls. We don't know exactly what's going to go on, but we definitely want to spread ourselves because we at least know by looking at this card up here where troops are coming from in one spot here. I'm going to just kind of spread them out here. I'm going to leave one of my troops over here just in case somebody comes there. Not enough reinforcements, but we'll figure it out, right? Now, how do I know what's coming? Over here are these invader cards. Every round will have one that's face up and then more that will come and be on the sides over here. Now, where do I know they're coming from? It's going to be where this red top is here. So I'll look at the card and I will know that they will be hitting me up from the north. Now, if I'm sitting over there, that would be determined on a different side. That would probably be their right side. And over here on the left side, right to my left, that character will be getting attacked from the left. This one will be getting attacked from the bottom. So that's how those are evaluated. The other thing you want to look at is the numbers that are on here. It'll tell you where you are on the coins. That or below, that's how many of the specific troops will come. There is melee and there is archers. So I am not between the 0 to 1, the green player is 0 to 10. So that's what you're looking for, and that's what's on here. So if it's 0 to 9, then they are good to go. They would only get 2. I put them over here. But for me, I'm past 10. I'm at 13. So I will receive 3 melee. 3 melee, 1, 2, 3. And 1 archer. 1 archer. All right? Boom. So then I put that back and we flip over the next card. Now, yes, this is going to be a little tricky for orientation. Just make sure you flip it as best as possible, like here. So I'll be getting attacked from this side here, and I'll be getting attacked by, looks like between 2 and 19, so I will get attacked by two melee. Let's see, two melee on my left side. All right, cool. Didn't set up this example, so I don't know what's coming from where. All right, so there we go. And then finally, we'll have our siege card. So the siege card will get flipped over, same thing. Siege cards are going to do two different things here. Oh, Lord, 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 we got a problem here. So the siege is going to hit us from, it's going to hit us with these kind of catapults that will hit our walls, our turrets, or they will have a ladder, and the ladder, the troops will go right inside of my castle like so, and then I got to deal with them. But right now, it looks like I'm going to get hit with a mangonel, so it's going to hit me on the wall. I have between 4 and 14. I have 13, thankfully. I'm going to get my wall hit for 1. And whatever comes off of my walls and turrets and things like that, that will go right over here to my resources. Really cool thing. But as you can see, these troops out here, it gets a little fiddly, as you can tell. One of the things that I wanted you to notice here, you also have a surge on the card. The surge will attack the leader. So whoever's leading in this season, like myself, I will get attacked for more. This could be troops, this could be the archers, things like that. Since we're in season 2, I'm going to get attacked with two guys on the right side. This is not looking good already. Okay, so we have that, and that will be every round as well. So now what happens? I can scout. Okay, so looking at the scope of the land here, I can scout and move these around. So I got my little scout token. I'm looking around. Oh, they're coming from there and there and there, you know, that kind of thing like that. That is doing too much, y'all. But anyway, I get to move 4 troops because I have a 3-piece and a 4th one here. So I don't need anybody down here, so I'll go over there and add these troops. I don't need much, so I'm just going to go and move that one with that right there. And then we move into our archery. So now we can just start shooting, and the archers and the other guys will just shoot back and forth at each other. But the melee guys are just going to get plucked off. And this is how it goes. Literally, I just take an archer, and then I take a warrior off, and they will shoot back and forth and take each other out, 1 for 1. But my guys are also archers. They just shoot down at people. So they got these 2 that'll take these guys out. Looks like these 2 will take these guys out. Looks like we got 1 more, 2 more here. And then my turrets, let's just say there were more guys here. Let's say my turrets, things like that. If I had a guy here, what will happen is the turrets will shoot on both sides. And you have the wood one, which will just shoot once on both sides. And then you have the turrets over here that will shoot on both sides as well. But let's talk about possibly what would happen if I didn't have someone on the side here like this. Now, if I get hit with more health points than I have here, they will go into what's called a melee round. So if this is not resolved, a melee round will begin, and they will hit my wall. So this is 3 of these guys. Boom, 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 boom. They hit my wall, and this wall goes off, and now they're inside, okay? Now they're inside. And if I had nobody to go inside there and move inside there, then I would be sacked. But now I can put these guys inside and fight them off, like so. Okay, and when they fight them off, it's a 1 for 1 thing. Boom, 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 boom. And I have survived this thing. And we will kind of go back in this cycle. If I did not get sacked, we go back to the archery round. Archer, shoot back and forth, shoot back and forth. Then we'd have the melee, move around and things like that. Then we have the melee, keep going back and forth. But let's just say they kind of overran me and I had only 2 guys in there, and there was 3. So these 2 would take these 2 out, and then I'd have this one left. Well, I have been sacked, what's called sacked, which means I've now been taken over for the round. What will happen is I'll receive damage on a combination of, or more of, my refugee buildings and my refugee and my buildings. So I can kind of separate those. Takes away my victory points for the game, which is not good. I would also receive an extra worker for next round, so there's some benefits here. All these troops, by the way, that get hurt, they go over here. They don't die. The mercenaries just go away. They die, so you want to sacrifice them. But the people who get injured, basically your troops get injured and they stay over here. So yeah, you would get this thing sacked, and then you also get 2 mercenaries for next round. So that's kind of cool, right? So you get some benefits for losing, basically. And that's really how combat plays out. You don't want to get sacked. Now, how do we resolve the rest of the round? Depending on how many coins you have, you are going to receive the actual flag, and that will give you for the most points that you have. You will also evaluate your income, which will be evaluated about how many pieces you actually have left, not these cubes, but actual pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would receive 5 coins for that. That would take me up to 18. Then I would look at my farms, the ones that were not on fire. As a matter of fact, I think I forgot to put one on fire because there was no protection for it at all over there. There was no protection over here as well, I believe. So I should have had fire on there. Fire, fire, fire. Forgot the fire. So yeah. So I would have to feed my troops, and I have enough for 1 here and 2 here. So I would receive the food that I need to go here as well. And then I would use that to feed my troops. If I did not have the money, the food to feed my troops, I would have to pay in money. And then that's pretty much it. We will do some refreshing at the end of the round, which I'm not going to get into, but that is really how the combat works. You can even make sure you use some of these cards that you've gotten during the game that will help you out to get advantages. But as you can tell, that's kind of the run of how the game works. Let's get to my final thoughts, my review of After the Empire. All right, party people, my final review here of After the Empire. This is the type of game that I'm looking for. The games that are different, the games that try different things, bring me exciting experiences. Well, this game is kind of half and half, but the other half is so good that it lifts it up to that, hey, you need to know about this game. And let's talk about why. Well, one half of the game, the worker placement part, is not as exciting to me. As a matter of fact, it gets a little long in the tooth for what you're doing as you get to the higher player counts. And it just was too long, man. I mean, we're trying to milk our turns. It just gets in that 2-hour range and sometimes past if you're new into the game, or even if you're just kind of taking your time trying to make sure you get the right choices. Just too long. 2-player, 3-player is going to be your wheelhouse on this one. I don't know how long the solo takes if you get that. Now, also, it's a little fiddly on the fiddly side. You're going to get all these, these little tokens, little people bits, and you're going to be trying to put them on the side of the wall. That stuff can get a little crazy if you have too many. You're trying to put them in the slots, they're falling off. You want to be thematically working to have the people on the tower to shoot down. It's a little fiddly, it's fine. But it's something that bothered me. And I just felt like overall, that just wasn't as exciting. It felt very old school to the point where it's just like, all right, so that side of that. But I just want to talk about the good stuff. There is a lot of good stuff going on here. And it starts with just the action of the action that's going on at your castle. Now, having more money makes you more of a threat, and that marker is going to put more pressure on you so people can't hide from the combat that's going to happen. So they got to prepare. They can't duck combat for long. And I love that it keeps going up every round. That's really slick. And then you're taking the risk of being higher so that you can fight these guys off and get more points as well. So you got to save your hide, and the front runner may be in more trouble from the surge events. That's exciting to me. I like exciting moments. And then when you're going back and forth, shooting your turrets, oh, did I get enough? Hey, am I on the right side? And then all these people start piling into your castle. Do you have enough troops for melee? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then maybe if you have a card or two, they save your hide so you can do more attacks or get extra turret shots. That's exciting to me. It's a mess on the table. It's a mess on your board, and I like that. I just like that part of the game so much. And it's exciting for everybody because it happens from different sides, which makes it like not feel samey, which is just a really good part. That's a good part of an experience for me. And that's why it outweighs some of the kind of the side where I just wasn't as excited about, and that was the worker placement side. It's a good combination overall, and I like to see it explored, maybe an expansion. I should also say this game is very, very good quality. Just a really high quality cards, the board, everything's thick. It's really nice. The boards are thick. The minis are great. And that's just, that makes for a really good experience as well. Definitely want to take a look at this game. Diamond in the Rough. I'm going to give this game a 7. It's so close to being great, but this one sets that high bar for worker placement and the tower defense. So maybe if someone else is going to pull this off, they're up against After the Empire, because this one kind of owns it for right now. All right, party people, what did you think about this game? Is it going to be your next Diamond in the Rough purchase? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe it interested you, maybe it didn't. Sound off. Let me know what's up. Well, I think I'm going to start reviewing some games that are diamonds in the rough. So we're going to try to find some of these in my collection or when I go to the game store and let you know what's up. But until then, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me on MVM. Hope to see you again.